everyone. Welcome to another edition of Women Crush Wednesday, where we talk with badass women in the community. Today we're chatting with Deb Minton, who is the founder and president of Philanthropia Partners. And Deb has been doing, what, 25 years?
30 years.
30 years? Your website says 25. You just don't want people to know you're older than that. Yeah. So one of the things we always like to do is chat with, obviously powerful women that are very involved in the community and have them kind of share words of wisdom, which I always get something out of, and I think that a lot of people that watch these videos also find, inspiration. So, because you're inspiring.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So, all right, we're going to jump right into it. Give a quick overview of, Philanthropia Partners, and then maybe talk about why you started your business.
Oh, excellent. Yes. Well, Philanthropia Partners for me was a dream for quite some time to open my own business after a long career and body of work in Grand Rapids and West Michigan. And so in 2010, I decided to leave my employer and really began to work with organizations across a swath of issues in the nonprofit sector: the arts, women and girls, the environment, social justice issues, and really had just such a desire to shed the identity of one organization and really bring some intelligence and some human capital to organizations who needed the skills and experience that I had. And so May of 2010, I turned in the proverbial keys and jumped with a contact list. But the transition was really, for me, really well thought out, and it just felt like the natural next step. And consequently, in 2008, when we had the stock market crash, many organizations, nonprofit and for-profit, lost key people, either through restructuring or budget cuts or what have you, and there was a real deficit in terms of organizations, particularly in the nonprofit sector, that lost the skills in-house that I could bring. And so I really felt like opportunity met desire, and there was a real need, and so I jumped, and I've never looked back.
And that's interesting too, because you've been a nonprofit essentially your entire career. That's a really long time to be in the nonprofit industry. You see a lot of people that will do it for a while. Like I was a nonprofit for a while. What do you find so rewarding about it?
I find the act of helping people and organizations and teaching them how to reach their goals very joyful. So my background, I was a teacher by training, and left my educational experience because there were no teaching jobs when I left college, and so I ended up into the nonprofit sector, but brought all of the skills that teaching brings in terms of leading people and helping them reach their potential and guiding them to solutions and finding a way to reach their goals, and found that those skills were really transferable, and I could have a great time and meet great people at the same time. And I have never looked back on moving out of the teaching lane either, and I just bring it naturally. So that's been the joy of the work.
Now, what do you kind of find most challenging?
I think the most challenging thing that I see in the sector is helping organizations stand taller and speak more articulately about the important work that they do. And I call it, kind of affectionately, taking your stance and your place and owning the space in which you work, and then really working with organizations to help differentiate themselves around why their work's important to the community. And when we get that story down, support comes. And so my art form is really helping them articulate a vision that's worthy and get that to people who care and who can move the financial needle. And then we hit a really, a real sweet spot in terms of helping them advance their resource development efforts. It's just so rewarding to see them reach potential.
Wow, and we have such a huge community of nonprofit organizations here. So it's, it's interesting that Grand Rapids is where the business is. And what would you say, because you and I have talked about this previously, about community engagement and being involved, and how like this is a very unique community when it comes to that. At least I feel like it is. How would you say, like, that networking, that getting involved in different, like, whether it's boards or organizations, like how has that really kind of helped you?
Well, I have always approached networking, I'll use the air quotes, as connecting to help people. And what I have found, when I meet people and really listen to their direction and what it is that they're trying to achieve, I always know people who can help them. And, kind of a sage thing I always say is that good people know good people.
Right.
And so I feel like it's my role in many regards to help people connect, whether it's a fellow woman business owner or someone making a transition out of a sector or looking for a job or trying to improve their skills. When I help people, it usually comes back tenfold.
Tenfold, right?
Tenfold.
I always say that to people too. Networking isn't about asking for something, it's about offering value. And I think so often, we professional individuals will take the wrong approach where they go into something and are like, well, I'm going to make these connections and it's going to be beneficial for me. I've always said, and to what you were saying earlier, like, you have to provide value to get value, and don't expect something from someone else. It's almost like just doing the right thing and helping somebody along the way. And like you said, it'll come back tenfold.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I think, when you think about involvement in community, whether you're on a board and you and I work together to further the mission of Inforum and helping women in business, that is just so rewarding, because ultimately, when one woman, when one business, when one organization wins, we all do. And that's part of the unique fabric and thread that is Grand Rapids. We are the second leading most philanthropic organization or community in the country, second only to Salt Lake City.
Really?
And therein lies potential. And Grand Rapids people, we get it, and we get each other, and that's one of the unique things. And I feel really fortunate to have had a really long, you mentioned 30 years, a really long and successful career here. And I feel in many regards like I'm just getting started.
Right?
Right.
I know, that's how I always feel too. You're only as old as you feel, or maybe look, I don't know. So what are some words of wisdom you have for like other professionals? I know when I started out, I didn't have any idea what to do. And, what would you say, whether it's about them getting involved or finding the right career path? Because to your point, you started out as an educator and here you are running your own business. So, what would you say to someone who's either starting out or somebody who's maybe making a career change, or just general wisdom?
I think the most important couple of things, one, is knowing yourself and staying true to that. And regardless of the jobs and roles that we've had, we carry with us a bucket of competencies that can be applied in many, many situations, whether it's in education or healthcare or marketing or nonprofit. And so applying, particularly in this new emerging, fast-changing economy, knowing what those competencies are and being able to tell people or customers or employers what it is that you can bring is going to be really super important. And I think the other thing is really keep good company, because when you're in business or when you're in a transition, the level of success that you have rests with the emotional capital that you can maintain and preserve and nurture in yourself, because you cannot help others until you take care of yourself. And when you're bringing full game and making sure that your reservoir is full, that only allows you to help others, and of course it always comes back around.
So saying that, like one of the things that you obviously, you're a dog lover, so does that help kind of fill that reservoir? And then also, you are very active in Saugatuck, and you're on the Saugatuck Center for the Arts board. And so do you feel like that kind of, what do you do to refresh yourself?
Well, two really great things. One, every single night without exception, we walk our dogs in nature. And it's usually just before evening comes and darkness comes, and it's a way to kind of wash off the day and process what's happened, and also just to get exercise and interact with the canines, who always bring simplicity
or joy, just
simplicity and joy to your life. And I think the other piece is for me on the lakeshore particularly, the Arts Center, for me, people would always say, I can't believe you're on the board and you do this for your living. And but that has been literally every minute I have spent on that board in the last 7 years, and still going strong, has been a joy. And I'm not an art or performance aficionado, but I love the way I feel at the Arts Center. And so that, to me, if I can contribute to continuing to make that place a social centerpiece for that community and have others join, that's really super rewarding to me.
And not to get off track, but I would say too, it's not just for that, it's all of West Michigan. I mean, the talent that they bring in. I mean, you organize the Forum group all going out and seeing Mamma Mia, which I immediately then watched the movie, which I'd never seen. Then I downloaded the album, and then I forced everyone here to listen to it nonstop. So, but I mean, it's just such a centerpiece, as you said, for the community, but I really think for West Michigan as a whole. And to your point too, it's not like I'm have any sort of performance art background, but I think, the way it makes you feel when you go to something like that, it's just it's profound. It's just awesome.
Yeah, and you would think that you would invite a few friends out to the theater one night and 72 women show up. There's something special in the intersectionality between the women's relationship and having food and wine and entertainment.
The wine might have played a big part.
The wine plays a good part.
And you can also have a cocktail while you're watching the show, which I thought was amazing. But, well, no, thank you so much for coming on. I mean, you are one of my favorite people, and you have your activism or your being involved in the community is just, I mean, it's just a joy to see, and it's inspiring. And that's really what these videos are about. We really do want people to feel inspired after hearing from women who've come before or women that are doing big things. So if you have ideas for who you'd like to see featured on the next Women Crush Wednesday, reach out to us. You can find us all over social media. But thank you again. Yeah, we're everywhere. Lots of pictures of dogs. But thank you so much for coming on, Deb.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.